All right, gentlemen. Well, I just want to start off by saying thank you. Yes, also, let's take a look at this. Hey, welcome to the Online Ministries. Yeah, so this was actually my senior picture in high school. Obviously not the text there, but I thought it was a good picture, I guess. Yeah. All right, no, you can take that off now, please. Please take that off. All right, guys, go ahead and take a seat. Before I get into my thought this morning, I just really wanted to thank and honor Christian. Guys, we are so blessed to have such an incredible leader, hey? And I wouldn't be where I am today without him. So thank you. This morning, if we have our Bibles, we're going to go ahead and jump right in. Can we go to 1 Kings 2:2? All right? And that's where I'm going to start. But before, I'm going to read from verse 1 into verse 2, just so you can get a bit of context. And it says, as the time of King David's death approached, he gave this charge to his son Solomon. I'm going where everyone on earth must someday go. Take courage and be a man. Now, today what I'm going to share with you is something that actually God has really been speaking to me about. I read this yesterday, and honestly, guys, it hit me in the face because I realized how simple it was. I believe that there's two things that we must do to be men. And it's simple, but it's hard. It's number one, is to take courage. It's to have courage. And number two, is to make a decision. A decision to be a good man. Right? And now I'm going to break down these two things, courage and decision. And I'm going to first start off with the decision. Right? The decision to be a good man. So now, I guess the question is, what does it mean to be a good man? Right? Because the world will tell you what it means to be a good man. I went online and I found this website called The Art of Manliness. At theartofmanliness.com, so if you'd like to go check it out, please do, it's great. But it says that you need three things to be a good man, and it's called the 3 P's of manliness. And it's number one, to protect, number two, to provide, and number 3, to procreate. So basically, what it's saying is that we need to be strong, we need to fight, we need to be able to protect our family and the generations going ahead of us. Number 2, we need to be able to provide, we need to be successful, we need to make money, right? We need to be able to get the things that we couldn't get as children and then give them to our children one day. And then we need to procreate. Now, when reading about that, it says nothing about covenant. It says nothing about a wife. It just says to procreate because we're men, right? We have an excuse to do these things because we're men. But if we look in the scriptures and we look in the text, it says nothing about these things in that context. If we look and see what God says, now it's actually in Deuteronomy 31, and it says, so be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid and do not panic before them. For the Lord, your God, is on your side and will go before you. He will never fail you and he will never abandon you. God will protect you. God will go before you, gentlemen. God will always be there for you. He will never abandon you. So you don't have to worry about protecting because he has already gone before you, right? With provision, he is our provider. He is the source of all the goodness, of all the grace, of all the happiness, of all the joy. If we sit there and we think, oh God, I have to go and provide this money for myself, well, what's he there for? Yes, go get a job. Yes, go work hard. But remember that he is the provider. And the third one is when it talks about procreating, right? It's human nature. It's what a man's supposed to do, right? But I remember reading in Genesis when it says a man and a woman, they should leave their families and become one flesh under the covenant of the law. Under the covenant of God, right? And so understand why the world believes that this is okay. Because guys, honestly, I know what these three things look like in a man's life. Because I've tried them.
Preach it.
I've done all of these things. And honestly, just to be real with you, they don't fill you. They don't fill this God-sized gap in your heart. Because you keep trying to place something there. And it never fits. And you always go to the next thing, and to the next thing, and to the next thing. Am I right? We always try. And it never fits. But this is it. This is the decision. This is when it comes down to the simple things, right? We have to be with Jesus and make a decision for Jesus. And that's the decision of being a man. Because when we make a decision for Jesus, gentlemen, things like the questions and the answers and the things that we're looking for, it becomes easy. If we choose Jesus before we choose our money, then Jesus will then provide. If we choose Jesus before we're hanging out with our girlfriend at 10:30 at night, then we choose to not go and to take these steps.
Come on.
When we choose Jesus before we get ourselves in situations, whether it be with our own life, whether it be with our job, with our boss, with our girlfriend, with our wife, when we choose Jesus before these things, the answer becomes easy. We don't have to strive to be a man. We don't have to strive, gentlemen. All we have to do is sit back and be with Jesus. That's all we need to do. Because God's always speaking. He's always trying to teach you something. But are you listening? In the first part of the scripture, it says to take courage, right? We live and we go to school in such an incredible area, right? We're so blessed to be underneath such great leadership. And right now, we're talking about taking courage, right? I think it's actually really cool that God put this on my heart. So, what does courage look like? What does courage in action look like? Courage in action looks like a young boy standing and facing a giant with an army behind him and an army behind the giant. In between that, that's the courage.
Yeah, that's good.
Courage in action looks like three teenagers getting shoved into a furnace in the face of a furious king and an idol. Courage in action looks like a man being thrown into a lion's den and praying and saying, Father, you will take me out of this. That's what courage looks like. Courage looks like a savior on a cross. That's what courage looks like. Now you might be saying, well Jacob, how do I make this courage? How do I do this? It looks like this. It looks like, Father, help me. Father, be with me. To make courage, gentlemen, we need to be with Jesus. Isn't that so simple? It's simple, but it's hard. It's simple, but it's hard. Because your courage is truly shown when life's giants, when life's lions, when life's furnaces are standing right in front of you and you're about to be thrown into it. That's when your courage is shown. Your courage is shown. Well, I guess courage could really mean how much time you spend with Jesus. That's really shown when your battles are right in front of you, aren't they? I want to talk to you about a man. His name was Bishop Polycarp. All right? Yeah, this is some history for you. So Bishop Polycarp was born in 69 AD, and he died in 156 AD. So Bishop Polycarp, some context behind this. So he was born in what is now Turkey, right? And they say that he was a Christian from about 5 years on, and they say that he was actually, he was mentored by the Apostle John, right? Which is really sick, right? It's pretty cool. Also, what is to know is that Bishop Polycarp was the first martyr in the New Testament post-era. So, while I was reading this, reading a bit of his story, it was really cool. So, at about 80 years old, this is when he was taken by the Romans, right? So the Romans came into Turkey, and they took control, and they didn't like Christians, and so they took it. But the cool part about Polycarp was this, is when he found out that the Romans were coming for him, he sat down, and all of his friends around him, they were going, oh, you gotta go, like, they're gonna come get you, what are you doing? And he goes, no, I know what I'm here to do. I know what I'm here for. And then they came into the door, the Roman soldiers, and they took him. And they took him back, and then he was judged. And honestly, guys, like, this guy has a pear on him, right? So this is what happened. So the judge, he was completely, he was trying to annihilate this guy with his words, right? And Polycarp wasn't taking it, right? So he's being fairly witty back. And then Polycarp looks at him and he goes, I don't know what you're still doing. Like, why are we still having this conversation? Judge me, because I know what I'm here for. And so he said, fine, I've had enough of this. We're going to nail you to a cross and we're going to burn you. We're going to burn you alive. And so he said, fine, I know what I'm here for. And as the Roman soldiers were taking him, they went and they were about to nail him, and he says, no, don't worry about it. Don't nail me, because I will stand here, and I will take it, because I know what I'm here for. And the last things that Polycarp remembers, and this is what was written down about him, it says that the heavens opened, and he heard a voice, and it says, be strong, Polycarp, be a man. Polycarp took courage at 80 years old in the face of the enemies. Guys, courage is simple, but it's hard.
Come on.
We don't have to be faced with the lion's den. We don't have to be faced with the furnace. We can be faced with our assessments. We can be faced with our paychecks. We can be faced with honestly, with our girlfriends. Let's take courage in these moments. Courage is simple, but it's hard to. Being a man, having a decision is simple, but it's hard. Gentlemen, I believe in you. I believe in every single one of you. I've been lucky enough to have a conversation with every single one of you. And I believe in you. Know that what you do out there does not make you a man. It's what you do in here that makes you a man. It's your decisions that you make. That's what makes you a man. I love you, every single one of you. I believe in you. Thank you.
I don't really know how to follow that. Does anyone want to give their lives to Jesus? Oh my goodness. That was incredible. You're born to communicate, dude. Particularly to men. I think I was sitting there just trying not to cry. Honestly, I cried enough yesterday in chapel, far out. What a week. It's a week full of tears. Can we thank Jacob for pouring his life? That will not be the last time you do that, mate. That was incredible. So we have a couple of announcements.